guys, welcome back to another video. My name is Bri and I'm going to be your new legal bestie. We're going to talk about all things law, and that is for law students. So welcome to the series of law advice for law students. Now today we are going to talk about something called ISAACS, or some of you may think of it as ILAC. Basically what it is a problem solving acronym which allows law students to figure out a legal problem. You would typically be taught this when you go to law school. I just decided to do that for today's video only because when I was back in the first year, I was struggling. I had no idea what the ISAACS was. I went to go search it up and it led me to a professor. So I'm here to be that person and hopefully help you guys out. Now in this video, first I will explain what ISAACS is, then I will tell you what is in the acronym, and then I'll provide you with a lovely and very basic legal question where and how you can learn to apply ISAACS. So let's jump into it, hey? So basically it is a form of legal problem solving. It is again taught in university to all law students. It is taught in different variations depending on your subject that you were taking. For example, in torts I was taught ISAACS, and then in contract law I was taught ILAC. So it all just depends on your university and the subject that you take. It basically just helps to find whether or not the person or thing or company is liable or is legally doing something or illegally doing something. It's basically teaching you how to write advice to a client. Now typically ISAACS will use things called elements, and in your law subjects they will teach you each and every single element you may need to satisfy. Now to finally find out what ISAACS is, again it is an acronym. It is spelled ISAAC, okay? Now, I'm gonna go through each and every single letter and tell you what they all mean. First, we have I. I is the acronym of issues. This is basically asking you what the legal issue is in the question that you have been provided. The second letter, which is S, is state the law. This is where you apply a law that you learnt from your study and go, okay, this is the law that I need to apply from your elements. Doesn't make sense, I know, but I will explain it further in the example I have for you. Next letter is going to be A, the very first A that you have. This A is an acronym for authority. Authority is basically stating where you got the law from. This can be from things like cases or legislation. It's just basically showing your tutor or professor or whoever, your client, that you didn't just make up this law out of nowhere. You didn't just grab it from the air. It came from somewhere. Now the second letter A, guys, is actually application. This is where your legal problem solving in which you've been taught during law school comes into play, because you are relating how the law and the facts that you're being presented applies to one another, and you're putting it together to make the client or your tutor to understand it. Now finally in ISAACS you have a C. This is probably one of the most easiest parts because all it is conclusion. You are just summarizing everything that you've just said, but not really summarizing. You're just basically stating, look, as stated previously in this paragraph that I've just written, the element is then satisfied, or the element is not satisfied, or blah blah blah. You're just basically saying, this is what I found out of my working out. Now again, to say it in a quick, easy way, ISAACS is I for issues. You then have S for state the law, A for authority, A for application, and C for conclusion. Now guys, I'm going to go over to the third part of the video, which is our example. Woo! It is a very basic example. You're probably not going to find this example in any of your exams. This is again very basic. I'm also not going to complete all the elements because of time. If I completed all the elements, I'd probably be here for half an hour. It's a quick video, okay? The example question is the following, guys. Lisa has come to you with an issue. She's overly frustrated by her annoying neighbor Samantha, as she has decided to let herself in by jumping Lisa's fence. It was a locked fence. Lisa is the current tenant and owner of the house, and she currently lives there, and she's seen her doing it. Lisa wants to know whether or not Samantha is trespassing and if she can take action towards it. Please provide advice for her. First thing you need to do when you get a question like this is find out what is the correct law that you need to apply here? Typically it says it in the question. Like this one here, it's stated in the question, Lisa is wondering whether or not she is trespassing. So obviously we know that we have to find and look at the law of trespassing. We need to find the elements. From my personal study, the elements of trespass is title to sue, direct interference to the land, unauthorized interference to the land, and is the defendant at fault. Now for today's video, because of time and because I don't want to take up too much time, because your time is so precious, okay, I'm only going to apply it to one element, which is title to sue. Now, after we found out the law and we know what we have to apply, the elements, we then start writing. I always start with a paragraph where I explain to the person what trespassing is. Again, it depends on your assessment or your exam or what the question is really asking. Because this is advice to Lisa. She is an ordinary person. She's not a lawyer. I'm going to explain to her what trespass is. So first, I will start off by defining trespass, and it would sound something like this. Trespass is a direct interference to the land, which is in exclusive possession of another, either intentionally or unintentionally without lawful justification. To find if Samantha is trespassing, the following elements will need to be satisfied. That's where I then quickly jot down the elements and I go title to sue, and then underneath title to sue, I then write down my ISAACS paragraph. Okay, now again, to remind you, I is for issue, S is state the law, A is authority, the second A is application, and C is conclusion. You then find out what the issue is. So for this one, I'm looking at the legal question, I'm going, okay, what's the issue we have to solve here? What's my problem? And the problem that I have to solve here, to solve this element, is, does Lisa have title to sue? There's your issue. Done. That's the issue we're trying to figure out. So I'll pop that up in a question. Does Lisa have title to sue? Right next to it. You then have to move on to your next letter, which is S, state the law. What is the law that I'm going to apply here? The law that I'm going to apply here for title to sue is define what title to sue is. So, title to sue is having exclusive possession of the land. Great. That's just me stating the law. Done. Now the next thing is A, authority. I need to tell Lisa where I got this law from. I need to tell her and say I didn't just pull it out of the air. Authority. It's a case that I found relating to the definition of title to sue, which is Newington v. Windyer, 1985. So there we go. I've stated where I've got the law from. That's my authority. I've just done the first three. I've done issue. Does Lisa have title to sue? I've done state the law. Title to sue is having exclusive possession of the land. I've done authority. Newington v. Windyer, 1985. Now I need to go into my second A, which is application. This is where you then apply what you've just said to the facts that you have. Looking at the facts, we're finding out, does Lisa have title to sue, and does she have exclusive possession of the land? As the facts clearly state, Lisa is the tenant and she owns the land. So clearly there is ownership of the land and she lives there. So the application, I would say, as the facts clearly state, Lisa is the current tenant of the house and owns the land. There you go. That's applied to the facts. That's also relating to the law. I've done it and I've connected it together. Very simple, very basic. Now the final letter is C, which is conclusion. And conclusion is where you summarize it and say whether or not this element has been satisfied. And what I said is, thus, Lisa does have title to sue, and thus this element is satisfied. Now that is how you would apply ISAACS. But in an assessment or exam condition, guys, you need to make sure you don't write it down in dot points with issue and all that next to it. You need to write it down in a sentence or a paragraph. So for example, I've written underneath the way, or the very basic way, of a paragraph that applies ISAACS. It is the following. Does Lisa have title to sue? Great, there's your issue. I then go, title to sue is having exclusive possession of the land. State the law. I then say in brackets, Newington v. Windyer, 1985. That's my authority. I then state, as the facts clearly state, Lisa is a current tenant and owner of the land. That is my application. Thus, Lisa does have title to sue, and thus the element is satisfied. That is my conclusion. I've written that all in 2 sentences. That is what you do with ISAACS. Now again, like what I said before, this is a very basic edition of it. Typically with legal problem solving, you have to look at the facts more and then kind of understand the law behind it to apply it, but because this is a very basic one, I'm not doing that for the sake of time, yeah? Now for the rest of the question, you will keep doing that with each and every single element, apply ISAACS to each element until you finally get to the end, write an overall conclusion and say, bam, Samantha is trespassing. And looking at the facts, I think she is trespassing. Guys, I really hope that this video has helped you out. Again, this is very, very basic. I hope it has, especially for all the new law students. Let me know if it has below and comment, even if you guys have any questions as well. Please keep me updated. But besides from that, guys, I hope you had a great time watching this video. I hope it made sense to your amazing self. And I'm gonna see you guys next time. Again, I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hopefully will see you guys next time. And have a freaking awesome day. Bye guys.